Hi everyone, welcome again to another episode of Ascend Small Business. My name is Ann Johnson, founder of Mamansi Tea Company. We have two locations, one in Beaverton, one in Hillsborough. But today we're very excited to have with us Ivette Heredia. Yvette is with Birdee Media and they do marketing and advertising for small businesses. So we're very excited to learn all that we can about marketing and advertising for small businesses. Welcome to the program, Yvette.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited and honored. This is the first podcast that I actually do. So thank you.
Appreciate you for being with us. So I'm really interested to learn more about Birdee. Can you tell us about Birdee Media?
Yeah, so Birdee is 3 years young now, and we started a little before the pandemic. And, we just saw that there was this really big need for small businesses and medium-sized businesses to have access to marketing, especially for dual language speakers or primary Spanish speaking. So we work with anyone who is a small to mid-sized business and needs help achieving their marketing goals.
Oh, wonderful. I think there is a big need for that. I do. As a small business owner myself, I really have trouble really understanding, the concept of what I need to be doing for marketing season by season. So I think you're a greatly needed service in the industry. So why don't you start off in telling us what brought about Birdee Media, and also if you could touch on what the pandemic has done to impact your industry, during this past pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So Birdee Media started with me and my business partner, James Reyes. We met at a previous agency, and there was a lot of aspects where we're like, we could be doing more social media or implementing more of other services to what was already being done. So that really motivated us and spearheaded us in the direction of wanting to start our own agency. And within a few months, we had 2 clients. So that first year, that's kind of what we did. We're still working in other projects and positions. But then right before the pandemic, that's when we really started picking up business, and we're like, okay, we need to see this as a business now, not just a side hustle, right? And pandemic wise, I think we were one of the industries that was positively impacted. There's a lot of businesses that didn't have the same fortune, so that's something that we're really grateful for. Mm-hmm. And for us, it actually helped us because we were already operating completely remote, digitally. My business partner being in Salem, Albany area, me being in Hillsborough, and then one of our teammates being in the Dominican Republic. So for us, there wasn't really a shift. We actually became busier because a lot of the services or aspects of marketing that we wanted to implement with our clients, they were really apprehensive about implementing them. For example, like working with those third-party services like Grubhub, DoorDash. And, when the pandemic got announced and everything was shutting down, they're like, hey, so can we do this service now? And it's like, we've been telling you for the last year or so. So I think it brought along a lot of good aspects because it made business owners or forced them into implementing these digital platforms where they didn't believe in them or didn't want to, or there was a lot of reliance in face-to-face connections, right?
Yeah.
So everyone had to shift for the pandemic, for good or bad, it's forever changed the way businesses operate.
I agree. So this was a good impact in terms of educating small businesses on how to pivot, and how to embrace technology pretty much, because the pandemic really impacted every aspect of life as we know it. So yeah, that's really greatly appreciated. So you just mentioned one of your team members is in the Dominican Republic. So was the team member prior to the pandemic or after the pandemic? One, because obviously having such an international scope, I think has added advantages to creativity. Would you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think it actually, it's helped us a lot. In, previous conversations with you, I had mentioned that I had read books on where they told you, oftentimes as business owners, we limit ourselves to our area and keep all the talent there. But what if you expanded? What if you looked outside, your local area? There's so many resources and people who do things differently, and I didn't want to be limited by that. But going back to your question, that team member already worked with us prior to the pandemic. The pandemic actually just helped so she could come on full time, which I thought was great. She's actually someone that's very close to my business partner. And so it just made sense.
And so we shouldn't be really afraid of adding talents from all over the world, right? As international business, as businesses becoming more international, it's really good to embrace creativity in an international scope, right? I think so. So how do you stay motivated as a business owner, and with your team being all around the world? How do you guys stay motivated?
I think I wouldn't even call it motivation. I would call it discipline more so, because I can tell you there's days where I'm not motivated to do work, but I know that there are people that are counting on me, not just our team members, but also our clients, right? Being small businesses, there's a lot more at stake that you have to do the work in order for them to continue growing. And whether it's COVID, inflation, or what it is, there's always going to be bigger challenges for smaller businesses and who see the impact first, right? So I think that's more so the motivation, it being discipline and accountability, because people are counting on you.
Exactly. I agree. Discipline is a big factor for going through the turbulence of small business. Yes. Not really, waking up to emotions, but doing the grind regardless. So when you talk about inflation, recession, and that being a problem currently, what would you say to prepare or to help small businesses through this season, right? In order for them to keep afloat. I know a lot of situations are obviously having enough cash flow, but speaking from a marketing perspective, what would be some of the advice you would give to small business owners?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, marketing is always one of the first things that are cut when, you need to cut back on expenses or what it is. And I understand, but if you can, try to readjust other expenses elsewhere, because if your sales are going down with marketing right now, imagine what's going to happen when you completely remove that piece, right? So how are you going to know whether people are being reached, having that same consistency, because consistency is key to your marketing. So if you can, diminish the budget, but don't completely take off the marketing efforts that you're doing. If you have someone who can do it in-house, great. That's awesome. But if not, definitely reconsider and adjust elsewhere if you can.
So to help small business people understand the difference between marketing and advertising, because those two terms kind of get to be correlated and then intermingled, and then it creates a little bit of confusion. So could you help explain what is the difference for marketing, what is the difference for advertising?
I mean, I can tell you we merge the two together also. But yeah, marketing, I think it just is more of a broader scope of everything that you do, from digital platforms to traditional media, and the advertising aspect, I think more of like billboards and things like that.
Okay, so marketing would include something. So like now we're looking at obviously the fourth quarter of the year. Anyone who's preparing for whatever sales that they're going to be doing for that time frame, creating a roadmap, a strategy for anything that goes into that. The collateral, the advertising will be something that they would be including in SEO, Facebook, and in the social media type of reach within that time frame. So this is the time to connect with you because you're going to be preparing for that part of the fourth quarter, right?
Yes, I'm actually giving a workshop early next month on, preparing for holiday sales, right? So you need to have a well executed, thought out plan that you can implement, whether that means that you're collaborating with other businesses in your area or what that's going to look like. But I think that's what helps you, be successful and have a well-rounded campaign.
Yeah. So where are you hosting the workshop? How can people get a hold of the workshop?
Yeah, so this workshop, I'm doing it in conjunction with someone else, so I don't know if I can talk about it much yet, but it will be on our social media platforms.
Okay.
So if people want more information, they can follow us at Birdee Media on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, so more about workshops and how to prepare for end of year sales. Go to Birdee Media on social media.
Yes.
Oh, great. So, and that's a great resource. What other resource do you have for small business owners from Birdee Media as well as from yourself?
Yeah, that's a good one. So I am actually taking a business course right now with the small business SBDC with PPC, and they have some really great mentors that talk about different aspects of running a business, from marketing, finances, if you want a franchise. And I think a lot of the times we forget about doing that work, right? Because we get lost in the day-to-day operations and a lot of the times put our business planning on the sidelines.
Right.
And I think sometimes you just need those refreshers. So the SBDC has been a great resource for me in particular, and holding me accountable to some of the goals and what I need to do to get there.
Right.
And I think also just surrounding myself with like-minded individuals, and I think being vulnerable, right? Being able to talk about what you're going through as a business, the struggles, the positive aspects. I think a lot of the times, you go to networking events and you meet people, and once you establish those connections, it's always like, how's business going? And you're like, it's great, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, like, you have so many questions because there's no clear roadmap for how you should run a business.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes being able to allow yourself to be vulnerable in those situations and be like, I'm really struggling with this particular aspect. And I've been pleasantly surprised where they're like, you should talk to this person, or I went through a similar situation. We should do, this is what I did. Personal experience from them, I think oftentimes is one of the biggest resources or access to information that you can have, especially when you friend people who have been in business for so long. They're well seasoned and they've seen a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I agree. Mentorship is a big deal when it comes to small business, and also just surrounding yourself with like-minded people, because when you come into situations where you cannot think it through or you're emotionally, saturated, it's a good thing to have somebody else's viewpoint. I mean, yeah, and that we can't really do this on our own. So building those relationships is really important. I agree with you on that.
Right.
Where do you see Birdee Media as a small business ascending from here on?
Wow. I think we have to allow ourselves to dream.
Yeah.
And I do believe us becoming a stronger, well-known agency in the community and outside of Oregon. And I think for me right now, building the company culture and strengthening our team is at that's my priority.
Yeah.
Because when you have amazing people, you need to, continue to foster the talents that they bring and making sure that they're also heard. I think that's at the forefront right now, and also just continuing to expand, get more clients, making sure that we can help the businesses with their needs, because as they grow, we also grow, right?
True. Yes. And I agree with you about the whole ability of saying, Birdee Media treated me right. You guys should totally go deal with them. That aspect of, word of mouth is a big deal when it comes to service business, especially because we need to work with people that do other people well and if they're successful. So, yeah, I agree. So ascending small business for Birdee Media is definitely, getting the customer base in Oregon, especially in Hillsborough. I think a lot of businesses in Hillsborough do need marketing, and I think that Birdee Media is a place to go if you're struggling with marketing, advertising, or you're just needing to strategize with someone for the upcoming holiday season. We've been planning ahead for next year, right? This is the time to do it. And I think Birdee Media works a lot with small businesses in what industry mostly? What is the best industry for you guys?
Service-based industry is definitely our forte. So anything from carpet cleaning, plumbing, HVAC, those are the companies that we already established ourselves with. But we work with any small business. If we think we're a good fit for you, we're not going to sell you something that you don't need, right?
For sure.
I think that's something that we really pride ourselves in, being very transparent and telling you, I think we're not the best fit or we are the best fit. And if we're not, here are some wonderful resources that you can go to. But yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, you heard it here first. So if you're looking to ascend for next year, you need to get a hold of Birdee Media, and we'll put some links below us for their social media handle and their website. But just so we know, what's the best way to contact you?
Yes, just go to our website, fill out the contact us tab, and with there, one of our awesome marketing experts will reach out and contact you within 24 hours.
Perfect. And that's at birdeemedia.com?
Yes.
birdeemedia.com. And it'll be spelled, will be spelled out really well down here. So Ivette, is there anything you want to share with us about the current projects you're working on or the future projects that we should be excited for Birdee Media?
I think at this point, we're just growing, becoming more known. Referral base is always, a great feeling to have. Knowing, I came because this person works for you. I've seen what you're doing with them throughout the last 2 years, etc. I think right now we're picking up a few local franchises, so that's really exciting, where we can definitely display everything that we have the potential of doing and can do. So there's just some really big projects coming about, some state ones as well, and once we can share them, I'm really excited to do that.
Great. So we definitely want to support small businesses. We want to support businesses that have experienced some of the things that we've experienced as other businesses, and I think that builds a camaraderie for small businesses that are ascending through all the problems, the COVID, the inflation, the recession, whatever else is coming. So please get a hold of Ivette Heredia from Birdee Media, and her her website will be listed below, and reach out to her through her email contact, and they will be in touch with you within 24 hours. Thank you so much, Ivette, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.